Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I want to once again talk about guilds and talk about the benefits that guilds provide. Friends with benefits, and specifically giving an introduction to the YGG Guild Games SPL guilds within Splinterlands. And I have a special guest with me today. But before I introduce him, I just want to quickly talk about why guilds and why now. Well, for one, my guild right here, the YGG Guild Syndicate, is recruiting. So we are looking for guild members, guild brawlers, and people to join the guild. But what I wanted to do specifically is give an overview of, one, the benefits that Splinterlands, the game itself, gives to players that join guilds, and specifically what the YGG SPL family also gives as benefits to guild members in YGG. So I guess let me start by reviewing what the guild benefits that Splinterlands, the game itself, gives to players. First of all, you will earn merits and be able to buy Gladius packs that contained soulbound gladiator cards when you join a guild that has an arena and the right level store. Additionally, as your guild advances and gets higher level, you get the ability to buy bloodstones and power stones, which act similar to potions for opening packs, in that they give you higher chances for legendary and gold foil gladiator cards. Additionally, you're going to be able to get bonuses on DEC and in the future here, near future, SPS, as well as your R shares. Percent bonus up to 20% based on your lodge level in the ranked rewards system. And you'll also be able to, by participating in guilds, be eligible for shop discounts as you level up your store, and that's going to give you up to 10% off shop purchases in the Splinterlands store on things like potions. You're also going to get merit multipliers up to 200% as you level up other guild buildings, which obviously increases your chances to quickly earn gladiators and gladius cases. But I want to take a little bit of a segue here and really talk about the main topic today, and that's what are the specific benefits that YGG SPL can offer Splinterlands players. And let me introduce my special guest today, and that is Lorkus from the YGG family. And Lorkus, welcome to the channel, and maybe you can give us an introduction of who you are, your Splinterlands story to start with.
Yeah, thanks, NZİÇOT. Thanks for having me. Sure, yeah, I'm an assistant. I think the title is assistant game ambassador for Splinterlands within YGG. So basically that means that I help out Last Dragon, who's our game ambassador, with whatever stuff he needs help with. And that's quite a lot since we have such a big and growing alliance. I think we have over 300 members right now. So there's a lot to organize and a lot that we have going on. And I kind of started in Splinterlands kind of on accident. I kind of got more serious about crypto during DeFi summer and kind of stumbled my way into Web3 gaming, but I found a game that I thought was interesting, but didn't have like a community around it. I couldn't find people to get better with or learn more about the game. So I went searching for a community. I found YGG, and as a part of that, found Last Dragon. And I was like, this community seems great. What should I play? And he was like, for sure, you should try Splinterlands. So I got in kind of at the beginning of last summer. So I got some really nice prices, and I just had no idea what I was doing. So I just bought a bunch of like 1BCX stuff that I immediately wanted more of, but then it had gotten too expensive. But in that whole process, I got to meet a bunch of fun people through YGG. And we created a bunch of guilds. We can get into more about what all YGG has done together, but part of my journey was just joining up with YGG Dragons, which Last Dragon is the guild leader of. And as we grow, I created a kind of a sister guild, the YGG Guild Dragoons, which we are also recruiting. But we have a guild that we're trying to use in conjunction with the dragons to try to help improve. They're kind of at different levels, so hoping that as people get stronger inside dragoons, that we can help supplement and add new people to dragons as we also grow.
That's awesome. And how many guilds right now are flying the YGG banner? And you mentioned over 300 members, but how many guilds within Splinterlands does that consist of right now?
I wish I had an exact number. I know it's over 20. I think it's less than 30. So I'm not exactly sure right now. We had kind of we keep track of certain things from guild leaders, but it doesn't require that everyone do it if they're not participating in our gap seasons, which something I think we're going to get to in a minute. Maybe we shouldn't talk about that yet.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We'll definitely talk about, some of the benefits of YGG within Splinterlands here coming up. And I think there's some great information that should be shared with the community, because I think it's a huge, it's a huge advantage to YGG. And you mentioned there's between 20 and 30 YGG guilds within Splinterlands today. So, if you're not joining the Yield Guild Syndicate or the Yield Guild Dragoons, there's other potential homes for you within the Yield Guild system here that are you're going to be eligible to get some of these benefits, which we'll talk about here shortly. Maybe you could also talk about a little bit more about why you feel YGG SPL is such a unique place within Splinterlands when it comes to guilds, because there's a lot of guilds and organizations out there. But what differentiates YGG in your mind from others?
Yeah, that's thanks for asking. What you just said reminded me that we should discuss that there are a ton of different guilds inside YGG, and many of them are looking for players. So I would highly recommend anyone that's looking for a guild to come by the YGG SPL Discord and hop in our guild recruitment channel and just talk to whoever's there. Basically, we want to know what your in-game name is, what level you play at, and what your goals are, because that's important for us, because we have so many different guilds that are looking for different levels of players and different commitment levels of players. Like, I think across YGG, we're looking for active people that are going to contribute to brawls, but we have some guilds that are extremely competitive and are competing right up at the very top of all of the guilds across Splinterlands. And those are obviously looking for players that have more cards and are competing at a higher tier. But we also have guilds of people like Dragoons that we're looking for players that are playing in any league actively and are being competitive. We're not at the same level as some of those other guilds. So we have places for all the different levels of players, which I think is a little bit unique. The way the Splinterlands guild system is set up, each guild is kind of constrained in size, so each one kind of has to pick what they're going to do. And with an organization like YGG, there's just a place for just about anybody that wants to be an active contributor in the Splinterlands economy. There's places for you to fit in and a guild for you. And kind of because of that, we end up with this large community that has the ability to share information from lots of different viewpoints. We have lots of discussions about theory crafting, economy discussions, gameplay tips. We're able to do things like alliance-only tournaments where we can kind of compete against each other and get better in that strong competition. So to me, YGG is pretty unique in that way. I haven't seen anyone else in this space that's doing that, trying to build a community, make everyone get stronger, kind of in a meta way, larger than what the game is directly allowing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And I can definitely attest to what you just said there. I mean, on Discord in YGG and the economy channels and some of the other channels, there's just some amazing, brilliant minds, sharing information and discussions. And, as a new player, when I first started back in August of last year, I would have loved to have joined a system like YGG back at the time, just because, as a new player, you don't know what you don't know. I mean, I made a lot of poor purchases, a lot of poor decisions, because I just, was new to the game and just trying to learn it on my own. And, there's definitely a lot of great, I would say, accelerators and great minds within the YGG Discord and YGG family that can definitely help out. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about the structure of YGG, because I think this is also one of the advantages YGG has versus other organizations and guild structures, and that you guys have a fully configured DAO, like sub DAO within YGG, right? So YGG Splinterlands, where you have the light paper out here that's published for anyone to see, that talks about the organization, the goals, the structure, the proposals. So it's up and running. You guys have, I mean, how many proposals have you already got through the sub DAO from a voting perspective at this point?
That's a good question. I will take a look and get back to you. So thank you for bringing this up. And that's the YGG SPL is a sub DAO of YGG, which is a community that's for Web3 gaming and for bringing players of Web3 gaming together. So YGG SPL is a sub DAO of YGG, and so we got to inherit a lot of the structure and a lot of the good ideas that YGG had been doing in other spaces already, and kind of just got to leverage that in some ways that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. So that's part of why we have all of this structure, but it is a lot of work. Like I don't want to discount all the work that different people have put in, but being a part of an organization that had already done this before certainly helped. But as a sub DAO, we are community driven, and there's a governance token, and we, as you say, we have different discussions inside our Discord, deciding on the sorts of things that we want to vote on, and then we create on-chain voting opportunities for people to use their YGG SPL tokens to vote and decide what we do. 1819. It's more than I thought. We have almost 20 proposals that we've voted on as a DAO.
And that's awesome, because you guys are already up and running and kind of doing what Splinterlands will be doing with the SPS DAO in the future, and you guys are doing it as part of the guild activities and guild management, which is excellent to see. And maybe you can talk a little bit about, because here's the governance model as part of the light paper that talks about the proposals, how to get involved. But as part of this, there's a token, right? There's this YGG SPL token. Can you give the audience kind of an idea of what this is? What does it do? Is there a value associated with it, and how can you earn it?
Yeah, this is our governance token. So part of what I've left out so far is part of the formation of this DAO was around some assets that YGG had acquired. So we have a bunch of in-game assets, and part of creation of this DAO was funding the purchase of those assets for the DAO to now hold instead of them to be YGGs anymore. So we have a large pile of in-game assets. So these governance tokens, namely what they're doing right now, is helping people to have a voice and to shape what we do with these assets. So I did not pull up our full treasury report, but there's a couple of regions. There's several million deck. There's a bunch of untamed cards. There's a bunch of stuff that YGG was smart enough to purchase back in the day, and then we got to purchase from them as a part of this creation of the DAO. So the actual value of the token is pretty speculative right now, to be fair. A huge portion of what we own is land. And as anyone that watches your channel will know, land is valuable, but it's hard to say exactly how valuable or where that's going. You've put some numbers to it, but it's going to be, time will tell how all that works out and what the actual value of these tokens are. Right now, they're not available to be bought. They're not available on a centralized exchange yet. We still have one more sale. The public sale's coming up. It hasn't been announced when that will be. I have no secret knowledge there, unfortunately. But there will be a public sale coming up. And that will, at that point, I suspect we will be listing the token on a decentralized exchange so that people can acquire it and there can be proper price discovery and all of that fun stuff. But for now, the token can be acquired by participating with us through our guild advancement program. We have this guild advancement program that's designed to help us find great players that want to participate, and then to reward people based on that participation and truly look for excellence and the best players out there that want to really enjoy and grow with us inside the Splinterlands economy and community.
Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, even though there's not let's say, a monetary value associated with the YGG SPL token today, there is governance value, right, associated with that for voting.
Yes, and I mean, I don't know if this is the right way to think of it, but I kind of think of those tokens as fractional ownership of that giant pool of assets. No, that doesn't mean that you can go sell off some portion of the assets, but you have that fractional ownership of the total pool, and you're able to use that ownership to vote and how they're used.
Excellent. And I think that's powerful because you have a voice and a say in basically how YGG as an organization will then progress and move forward, which is excellent. And while YGG SPL token doesn't have necessarily value today because it's not listed on an exchange, it's something that will happen in the future. And as you mentioned, YGG SPL is a sub-DAO of YGG, and YGG does have a token. You can see here it is traded at around 63 cents as of the recording of this video. We'll see what the YGG SPL token comes in at eventually, but I think what you mentioned, which is interesting, is really the benefit now to being part of YGG and being a contributor to the Guild Advancement Program as a player is, you can start to earn YGG SPL tokens right now today, and that has value in the future, right? Similar to earning DEC or SPS in ranked battles and tournaments, you can participate through your guild if you're in YGG and earn more crypto and more currency for doing what you already do. And that is, playing a game that hopefully you enjoy and want to get better at, right? So I think that's a huge deal that I don't think other guilds can offer. And maybe we can talk a little bit about the Guild Advancement Program here. Season 2 is about to start here, I believe, starting in September. The ability to earn as one of three things: either a content creator, a guild brawler, or a tournament player. And it's not limited to just one of those three. You can do all three of those potentially, right?
All of these things are things that we feel like are the things that can help us grow, attract the best players, and help the best players get even better. Creating strong content helps people learn and brings in new players, and obviously competing and doing well at that not only creates more competition, allows everyone to get better, but also just looks really good when there's a bunch of YGG guilds that have great players winning tournaments and being at the top of all the leaderboards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you mentioned, you want YGG to be ambassadors for the game of Splinterlands and the advancement kind of its success. And what I like about this is you've really got such great organization around the proposals and the definition of the programs and the rewards. Here's just a screenshot of the community builder portion or the content creation portion of the next season. I don't think all of this has been formally approved via voting yet, but this is the structure that you're anticipating moving forward with, at least at this point, correct?
Yeah, this is stuff that has gone through a bunch of iterations of discussions and trying to find the right way to try to weight these different rewards versus the different quests to try to make sure that we are really rewarding excellence and trying to find really great people to work with us. I mean, that's what we're looking for. We've got what we think is a really strong pile of assets to help us really progress in this game, and we want to find really great people to help us do that the best that we can.
Excellent. And I think this is what's exciting about joining a YGG guild today, if you're not already in YGG, is that you can participate then and you can create content and you can be eligible for the content creation incentives there, as well as just by participating in the brawls within your guild, right? So as basically as competing in one brawl during the season will get you qualified as a recruit, as an example. And there's other different levels of play and quality and, like you said, contribution and excellence that earns you more rewards, like going to the warrior rank and to the commando rank, as an example, with different requirements for participation, win rates, and other things like that. That again is an incentive, right?
Yeah, so sorry to step on you there, Sinister, but I think incentive is exactly the right word, because being a recruit is certainly gonna get you an NFT, and that's cool and all, but it's not gonna get you many tokens. But also, in the same hand, it also means that you didn't necessarily contribute a ton to your guild. Where a warrior, you have shown up repeatedly and have done your job. And if you make it to commando, you're kind of awesome. Like winning 60% at brawls is no small thing, especially depending on the league that your guild is in. So showing up repeatedly and winning 60% is huge. Like I think it's huge, and so I think it correspondingly has a larger reward.
Yep, absolutely, and it's very exciting to see this. That you're encouraging participation in the guild again, active contribution, growth as a player in the game, but also growth as a guild, as a community, which is excellent because, again, if you're already playing Splinterlands, I would say not competitively, but actively and passionately, then there's really no reason for you not to be in the structure like YGG that's going to reward you for that gameplay, right?
Yeah, and I mean, brawls are just all of the news is out there. Brawls are becoming a bigger and bigger thing. Like being a part of an organization that's focused on it certainly has its benefits, regardless of any alternative reward structure. There are brawls are huge. Guilds have got so many big bonuses that are huge. Join a guild.
Absolutely. And the third item here that we're going to talk about, I think, is probably the most exciting in my mind, and that's the YGG SPL Esports section here, where basically you have a leaderboard within YGG where there's a competition to see who's going to be the best representation of YGG in the Splinterlands tournament scene. And again, here you're rewarded for your participation, your success in the game, which you're obviously already getting by playing Splinterlands and winning SPS and DEC in the tournaments. But in addition, if you're under the YGG banner, you're also eligible for additional rewards, right, as part of that growth and contribution to the ecosystem.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And this is really where all the competition happens. Like if you wanna go compete and show how great you are, that's what this is about. You can see the way the token distribution is laid out here. It is intended to be rewarding at the top. Um, so go out there, show how awesome you are. This format is intended to make it as fair as possible while keeping competition very high. That's why it's requiring these particular types of tournaments and then limiting the number of tournaments that can count so that people that can enter multiple leagues don't get advantages. So this is intended to be as fair as possible while truly letting the best go out there and prove that they are the best.
Excellent. Yeah, it's very exciting to see these programs, whether it's esports, whether it's the guild brawls, whether it's the content creation. All these are things that are going to uplift not only the players that participate in this, but also the game and the community as a whole. And I think I would probably summarize to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what YGG SPL and the guilds under the banner are looking for are basically active players, whether you're a new player or an experienced player that want to grow in the game, want to contribute to guilds and the game itself, and as part of that, growing under YGG, you're going to get rewarded in addition to what the game already gives you, right?
You were almost all the way there. I'd say the only thing I would add is that YGG SPL specifically is looking for people that own assets or rent assets, mostly own. So we feel like that is really where this ecosystem rewards and is designed for, is players to own cards. So I would say I think all of our guilds require at least some degree of card ownership. And that's maybe the only thing I would add to that. This is not, as Splinterlands has made it very clear, this is not a free-to-play game. And YGG is not, and YGG and Splinterlands is not designed for free-to-play players. The game just isn't set up for it. So I think all of the guilds require some level of card ownership.
Gotcha. Yep. Thanks for clarifying that. And maybe we can close here in that, again, I know Yield Guild Syndicate, which is my guild, is recruiting right now actively. So if you're interested in joining us, you can search for us in game under Yield Guild and find the Yield Guild Syndicate Guild. You can enter a join request there, and we'll be able to get back to you. In addition, I'm going to leave in the video description here the link to the YGG SPL Discord, which will get you into the YGG SPL Discord. You'll get any questions you have answered, and there's also a guild recruitment channel in there. And yeah, I think most of the YGG guilds right now do have spots available right now, and it would be a great opportunity to join YGG right now, especially with SPS coming to Guild Brawls very soon, and also the upcoming Season 2 for the Guild Advancement Program. So the timing seems really, really good right now.
I'm so very excited about all of it. What level is your guild right now? What kind of bonuses can people get in Syndicate?
Syndicate, our guild bonuses are decent. They're not as high as Dragons right now. Dragons, I think we're what, like 12%?
12%.
12%, yeah. Deck today, but that 12% is SPS, tomorrow essentially. So that's
Very
huge.
excited about that.
Yeah, we're in the process of leveling up our buildings right now in Syndicate. One of the main things, and we've talked about this from a guild strategy perspective, is just crowns are sometimes a limiting factor when you want to level up a lot of buildings all at once. So that's kind of our gate right now. But we're well on our way, and I think there's Dragoons. Is probably in a similar situation, right? Just trying to get ready for what's next and get the guild in a good spot to give benefits, right?
Yeah, we are about to go to Town Hall 5. We are Lodge 4, which I forget what that bonus is. We're still in Arena 1, but hopefully we can move that up before too long. Yeah, we definitely have spots available, and we're looking for people that want to come and compete in brawls.
Awesome. Well, Lorkus, thank you so much for hopping on, giving us a little bit of information, education on YGG SPL. I'm not sure everyone knows in the community about some of the benefits that are unique to YGG SPL, and hopefully this will get the word out there, and we'll be able to fill up those spots in Dragoons and Syndicate for you.
Thanks so much, Tanisha, for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. Until next time, keep stacking those stats.
That's entertainment.